Now this is no surprise to you if you have registered goats. So what do I have? I have green ink, numbers and letters, the tattoo pliers, whatever you want to call it, the applicator deal. It's baking soda. Why would I carry this in my clipper box? You'd be surprised, not at every show, but I bet once a season, if you've got your ears out in the show barn, ultimately you or somebody around you will either A, have forgotten to tattoo an animal, bought an animal, something like that. Maybe it didn't show up in one show and they got disqualified, potentially losing a top ribbon spot. We ran into that last year. We benefited. We moved up to second. Somebody ahead of us had bought an animal, and those people forgot to tattoo it. And so ultimately everybody was scrambling to get him tattoo supplies because that was a beautiful animal and he deserved to be in the spot he was in. And it was something that, you know, we forget to check sometimes, whatever. So not everybody will carry this, but we have room to carry our tattoo supplies in our clipper box, which is just a little toolbox we bought. Fits great in the show box. But we carry this not necessarily because we'll need it, but if we can help somebody out with these supplies, we want to make sure we've got them with us. Okay, guys, now that we have the animal dry on the stand, we've potentially clipped them up or cleaned them up. We've obviously blown them out. Now we've got them shined up. We're waiting for our class calls. Don't get too eager to get your animal on the stand. I'm very guilty of that. Animal gets anxious before we head to the ring. So try to time that accordingly. It's going to be hard in your first couple shows to do that. We're still 2 years later doing that. Shayna did a video on this earlier. Before we head, we've got our animal in the head stall of the stand. What we've probably done with a couple of our animals, we're trying it this year. They have some real attitude issues in the ring, no matter how we work with them at home. We've been carrying some attitude adjustment with us. 10 to 20 cc's out of this $20 tube before your show. You're going to give it a while before the show. Look up online. Experiment with that at home. We've been trying that with Link. He's at that age where those boys are just a pain in the butt. That 3 to 6 month, they're getting bucky. They're smelling the girls. So maybe you're given some of those things before you go into a ring or a little while before. So that's just a little something else. Next thing I'm going to show you is what we carry for halters and for leads for the ring. Some things we use, some things we bought, we don't use, some things we just won't use. So let me show you those. Okay, guys. Well, this is just your standard sheep, goat, woven halter. That's how we move everybody on the farm is with those. This is a Sullivan neck lead. So they make a halter that has the clips, but this is the neck lead. So the way this works, let me get this situated so you can see. So you see this big loop. That's essentially my handle. So what they have here is 2 movable rings. So this ring here is how you're going to resize it. So if you have a small goat like you see here, we're going to make this shorter so this can clip around their neck. And then this you can either use as a lead, or sometimes I'll hook that back around and I'll have a loop. Or if you're in a wash rack, some people where their animals, usually a more mature animal or a very well-behaved trained animal, they'll use this and hook this back around. And that's how they'll tie them up at the wash rack versus your little slip knot for your halter. So these are real handy. We have a couple, 2 or 3 of these for some animals. Just depends on how well trained they are. But they're a good purchase if you see Sullivan at one of your shows. Maybe try one of those neck leads. We carry multiples of these. Honestly, between these couple things, mainly these, I try to carry at least one of these for every animal because honestly, this is morbid, but if my truck catches on fire or the trailer brakes catch on fire or something stupid, I want to make sure I've got enough of these to get all the animals off the trailer. It's a dumb thought, but plan for it. You never know. This is one of the spiked collars we use. This is actually a dog training collar. This would be like a medium. So this is what our young bucks will move into here shortly. I picked this up in the pet section at the farm store. This is actually a Coastal brand. You can pick these up, honestly, cheaper like this. I'll probably cut this chain out, use the loops with our leads on them. You can buy extension links. You can take them out depending on the size of your animal. But the young bucks are going to be moving to this. So I just bought this. I carry it. I've got a 4-pack of extendable links that I carry with me. We just haven't used it yet. This is the smaller one that you'll find at the farm store. And this is what we've been using, just with a Weaver leather lead. So this is how most of our does go in. When they're in that 0 to 3, specifically 3 to 6, maybe even in the 6 to 9, I'll use these snap clips. This is something we learned from somebody else, because your doe can move their head and wiggle around and get a horn through here, and you would hate to have them outside the arena where you have no pins to catch your animal and them slip a horn and get out. So what we've learned is at the farm store, Orscheln's we didn't have these small ones, but I got these little, they're national brands, so Menards or anybody would carry that. But the smaller one like this, what we do is you'll either hook them down here, or a lot of times we'll hook them between these two, so that way it pinches a little bit behind the horns, keeps that a little tighter, a little bit easier to control for those animals. If you got a little bit bigger doe, you still want that option. You can move to a slightly more standard size. I'm going to call it a standard size clip. These are a little bit harder to find. I carry a couple, 2 or 3 of those with us. Here is one of the oil bronze. I'm going to call it a Jack's collar. Sorry, guys. Can't see that. So you guys are probably familiar with that. I don't know how I feel with these. I feel like this is... I get what they're trying to do, but if I'm going to use this, I'm going to use this. Now remember, we're ABGA, where this is the standard. The goal of this is to allow these to fit around their esophagus so you can control them, but they can still breathe. Same with that. Now, at your local 4-H, you're probably required to use a smooth chain. To me, our kids don't show market wethers yet, or if they will. To me, this is the dumbest decision ever. I understand people probably think this looks bad. I'm limited in my time with goats. I haven't been doing this for 20 years, but to me, this is stupid. And you're pulling on it, and you're just cutting their windpipe. This at least creates a break where it's kind of just like you just got your fingers around it, but they can still breathe. This, you pull too hard on this, you're just cutting it off. Me, personally, I think this is dumb. If I could rule all the fair boards, I would say this is more humane than that, because at least we know why that's doing it. It just doesn't look good to the spectator that doesn't know. We carry a couple different leads. This is just a little leather lead that came with one of the Weaver products, probably that chain or a chain like it. Here's a little green Weaver one that we bought with a basic chain when we first got started. But honestly, we've moved all over to these. These work well because you can just grab your animal up top. You can either hold them here, stick your hand in it, however it works. That's kind of what we carry. These are a Weaver Total Control halter. So what you do is, this is over the nose, the chain is under, and then you fit this piece around the back of their head. And then this piece here, hard to do it one-handed, this piece is up next to the animal's head. So their eye is like right here. Now the way I have these set up, this is wrapped with some of that vet wrap, horse wrap, just for the kids because that chain will get slick. I've been kind of clipping them down here for the kids because it just creates a secure logging point. What happens is that clip is not strong enough to clip in the links and stay in there. It'll sometimes pop out. A lot of times you'll see these young kids getting started, or you'll see them on very young does where you just, maybe they're not trained to a chain or they're used to a halter, and this would be a good progression. So you'll see some of those on your like 0 to 3 doe and buck classes. We do have 2 different sizes, a small and a medium for those. So like I said, this is just some of what we carry. I'm going to spray all these down. We kind of spray everything with an antifungal, you know, or something, or at least some bleach on something after the shows. But as you can see, I have more of them. We carry plenty because you never know if you're going to have multiple animals in one class. So that's just kind of a quick what we carry, and we carry excess. All right, we're almost there, I promise. Like I said, we plan for everything. So I'm just going to show you a quick couple things of some extra just what if things we carry. So this weekend, Sometimes you're not allowed to have tack pens, depending on how many people may come, the facility size, things like that. So you may end up in a cattle pen area with all your stands set up away from your pens. You may end up just on the outside of the barn, some things like that. So one thing we did carry, it's right here, is I want to say ours is just a 10 by 10. It's just a $70 10 by 10 canopy, something that as long as the wind ain't blowing 100 miles an hour, we can pop up. We at least got room to get that animal under some shade. Or like this weekend, there's some sprinkles. We can put our table and our stand underneath that, and we can at least work on those animals, blow them off, give us some reprieve, them some reprieve, some stuff like that. So in certain instances, that, since we bought a new one this year, since our other one got tore up, we carry that with us now. And we did use that a little bit. It was nicer, but like I said, this time we used it for sprinkles, not because of heat. We carry our chairs with us. The rest of that stuff is just general travel safety stuff. I already told you about fans. I also carry my generator. It is a 5,000 running 6250 peak. That'll run 2 fridges on it. So with that, I can jump on it. We can run 4 outlets of people on that thing and we'll be fine. Especially if everybody's pulling blowers at the same time. So those are a couple things. Here's some other stuff on the table that is just some what ifs. And I think for the most part, I've pretty much got everything covered. I do have everybody carry something different. This has just got a bleach mixture in it, so we can spray some stuff down. We had a couple goats that you worry from time to time, like, hey, did you get sick? Or maybe were you buy somebody's goat that was sick or something, you start spraying some stuff down. I'll spray all the metal stuff down in here quick. Some people will spray their pins down at the show before they get there. So figure out if you want to carry something. That's what that's for. I've got my 1,000-pound cart. I bought Tractor Supply. I don't like your cart. I wish I would have bought the one at Orchlands where I work. I think it's a better cart. So shame on you for a poopy cart. But that's worked really well for carrying things. So if you don't have a box or a Milwaukee pack out or a DeWalt or something like that for moving your stuff, that's what we use. So those are the only real kind of other things, was the generator, the canopy, the cart. Not everybody carries these or has them, but those are the what ifs. The generator at Loop City, we needed the barn. Everybody thought had sufficient power until you started running blowers at the same time. Here is some randoms that you may need them, and they're always suggested. Now this kind of stuff, most of it, you're probably going to see on 4-H videos on YouTube, whatever you need in your show box, stuff like that. I'm going to kind of add to it. So for us goat people, remember I talked about that de-shedding comb? Here's some baby powder. Some judges do not like when you can see like the speckles on a hide or something. You clip a neck a little too short, something like that. You may need to put a light dusting, work a light dust into that on an animal. Maybe some, I think Weaver's got like a Pro White spray or something like that. I went to Menards, got 1,000 pack of zip ties. I think they're 11-inch zip ties. I use them for everything. They hold the signs up, pins. They can hold your feeders up, just anything. Or those cattle panels I said you may need to cut to take with you. Just go get you a lot of zip ties. So you need zip ties. You'll see my side cutters here. I also carry a roll of rebar tie wire if I need to wire something up. There's some safety pins if your kids are showing. For some reason you need a number, or there's juniors at the show that need to be designated, some safety pins. Like I said with my hay baskets, that is a chunk of chain from a tube gate that we don't use. So I carry some of those with me. Straight and Phillips screwdriver, just in case. What about them hose clamps, right? Speaking of which, I'm not abiding by my own rule. I have no hose clamps. I have no way to fix my spare brand new sprayer tip for my blower. If I need to put that in, I need to put some of those in my shell box. Got a scissors, just in case. Got some wrap, just in case. Like I said, guys, here's all those clips. I just carry extras with me. Now, not everybody can drench at a show, but if we're worried about hydration, you know, ultimately, if I have an animal that's getting dehydrated or going down, I can at least take some water out of their bucket and give it to them. So we carry a new one of those with us. A little padlock just to keep the honest people honest, keep them out of your show box. This, guys, is one of those 300 tubes of probiotics. Doc Probiotic and colostrum paste. Shayna's been using that. It's been working good. We carry that with us in case somebody gets a tummy ache. I picked this up from, these are just some Weaver microfiber towels. Guys, look at that. We were discounting those for $1 at Orscheln's. I had a couple packs of those. I snagged those. What some of the people, when the kids were showing at a jackpot show a couple weeks ago, people were taking small buckets with ice water in them and soaking these, wringing them out, and laying them across the backs of their animals, just kind of keep them cool. So I do carry a couple packs of those with me now. But I would say that is kind of going to sum up what we have in the trailer. Like I said, there's another little valve piece. I have a Y fitting for a garden hose for the wash rack. I know I got long-winded again, and this is probably going to be a 4-hour video, and I apologize. But like I said, by the time you get everything out of the nose, everything you throw in here, everything that fits in that little box, that's not a huge show box. By the time everything fits in that, which I can barely pick it up, the stuff that gets thrown back here, what about the ramps that I use for the snowblower to get it in and out of a pickup? Those are to get that heavy beast out so I can get it out away from the barn so I don't have to pick it up. I also use it to get that cart out, right? That's not something I used to have or do, but it makes my life easier if I'm by myself. So it's all those little things. Same with that cart. If you're one man and I use that cart, either A, I can set the show box off and come back and throw more supplies on it, or I can throw the table and the stand and everything on it with the show box and make one big trip and a couple small trips. So you'll learn what you need, but that is kind of what we personally carry. I could ask 15 exhibitors at that show this weekend what they carry, why they carry it, why they use what they use, and you might get 18 answers out of 15 exhibitors. If you're watching this, we talked about it. So anyway, guys, just go through everything, see what other people are using, figure out what you absolutely need, and then work from there. Like I said, I have show leads that we will probably never use, but we bought them when we started. We've changed things up. I have a few things now that are just, they're going to live in the trailer. They're going to live in the show box. They won't get used around the farm. So anyway, take that with a grain of salt. That's what we carry. So that's why it takes me a while at night to get loaded up if the trailer's empty. But on your next outing, I wish you luck. Make sure you don't forget anything, especially your fitting stand. Take it from my bad experience. We'll see you later.